And Gina, what is your position here at Gaudenzia?
I am a clinician.
Okay. How'd you get into the position here?
I initially started with my role as a CRS, and as I continued my education and put my time in and just gained more knowledge, besides my lived experience, just textbook wise, I was able to land the role that I have now.
What made you want to get into this position and doing this? Because it's not an easy thing to do, and it's certainly not a high-paying thing to do, and it's tough. It can be
Mm,
challenging.
sure. Um, Obviously, my own lived experience, but there's so many things I've always wanted to do. Even prior to my recovery, I had always wanted to be in the helping field. I initially started college after high school for criminal justice, as ironic as it was. Um, but I knew I wanted to do something in the sense of like helping people reform themselves, even though I was struggling and had no understanding of the therapeutic value at that point. So as I went through recovery, treatment was the biggest piece for me to just gain that insight of why I behave and think and the beliefs that I had. Um, Experiences, good and adverse. So that kind of led me to believe so prominently in self development and just no matter what form somebody's in, whether they're ready to change or understand, hey, maybe this isn't norm. It was norm to you, but we don't have to continue with, generational trauma or just adversity that we faced and how to kind of break that. So going through that, knowing that I had a completely different worldview and through treatment and therapy really like drove me to wanna to do that, and not just with drug addiction or substance use, I'm sorry I should say, or alcohol use. It would be also for mental health and any type of self-development. I feel a treatment's good for everybody. We all need a little therapy at times in our life.
Now, you mentioned you have a past history. When did you start struggling, and what did you struggle with?
I struggled with opiate use disorder, and that began at the age of 14.
So that was a long time ago.
Sure was.
How long did that last?
Oh, wow. So, up until about 8 years ago, and off and on, off and on, there was brief periods of abstinence and just trying to, I would say, maintain without, again, the therapeutic value. So, at that point, I thought, as long as I work and as long as I'm, not using, I'm going to be okay. And then it wasn't until unfortunately, I was, kind of enforced externally into treatment that led me to start to really work on a lot of things that I needed to do. So, yeah, off and on since 14.
I'm say, what made it finally click in place for you that okay, I'm done with this. This is it for me.
Sure, right, because we hear so many things when we are a person struggling in active addiction. Um, I had children that were young, and the whole you wouldn't do this, if you loved your children. So untrue. Another false belief. I adored them and loved them, and even utilized that thought in my head. So it wasn't until really, like I had mentioned, my last treatment center ever, and recognizing a lot of internal challenges that I had that kind of brought like it was like an awakening of wow, this is why I think this way with maybe X, Y, and Z, and why I feel this way. I don't have to choose to continue to feel this way. So after going through that and realizing like I am worthy, I can be a good mother. I don't need to rely on a substance. I'm gonna have ill feelings. I can't just suppress them. So my last treatment center, and just I'm gonna say like we hear many others, I was tired. I was really tired of living that. That was more exhausting than just having a career and children and the balance of daily obligations. So it really was like an awakening for me at that point.
And how long have you been doing this now?
So over 3 years now.
Okay. It's personal for you, I bet.
Very, very personal.
How how hard or satisfying is it, this kind of job, being around it and seeing the stories that, you can probably relate to pretty well on things, but then helping those people move on. How satisfying is that to you?
It's so rewarding. So I don't want to like go off topic, but I had to. One thing was boundaries with, besides ethical boundaries, just boundaries of knowing that I'm going to meet people where they're at and understanding that. So, for example, if I have somebody that's coming in and, they're like, I don't want to be here, I understand that 100%. Maybe they're saying to me they don't have a problem. I understand that. And then it's very rewarding months and months down the road when they're active in the recovery side of things now and are finding awareness within their self to recognize that, wow, I really did have a problem. And I might not have wanted to be here, but all this work that I like kind of like was led into, I started putting the work in. So when I see those clients especially, oh my God, that's super rewarding for me. Very, very.